ADMITS. It seems like you're in quite a good mood. How would you rate those chances now?
I'm actually not in a good mood, but I will tell you, I think the chances are, yeah, I think Ursula would say, probably 50-50 of making a deal. I hope, I'd like to make a deal. I think it's good for both, but yeah, I'd say 50-50.
All right, that is Donald Trump openly admitting that he's in a terrible mood and that his odds of making a deal with the European Union, as he sits across from the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, and the European Commission's the executive arm of the EU, he says it's about a 50-50. Gone is the optimism. Oh, it's certainly going to happen. They're begging for a deal. They want a deal. Now it's 50-50, and Trump is admitting that he's pissed because it sure seems that his trade negotiations have been an abject failure so far. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, it's rare for somebody like Donald Trump, who is a narcissist and a liar and somebody who has to present himself as the beacon of competence and success, to just openly admit that he's pissed because things are not going his way. But that's exactly what he did. Now, in addition to that, he also ranted incoherently for minutes at a time about windmills. We'll get to that. But I want to play some clips from Trump's disastrous meeting with the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen.
Can I ask why you're in a bad mood? Was it a bad morning of golf, or why you're not in a good mood?
No, the golf was beautiful. Golf can never be bad, even if you play badly. It's still good. If you had a bad day on the golf course, it's okay. It's better than other days. But no, I think I look forward to this meeting. We've had a hard time with trade with Europe, very hard time. And I'd like to see it resolved. But if it isn't, we'll, have tariffs. They'll do what they have to do. But we have a good chance of getting it resolved. We'll probably know in about an hour. Shouldn't take that long.
What about the
it's complicated, but not really complicated when you get right down to it, right?
So again, that's Trump just admitting that he's pissed, and the reason he's pissed is because the European Union is not simply rolling over for him, and he has overestimated his ability to get a deal. Now, he says one might happen in an hour, and I suppose that's possible, right? But I think it's just noteworthy that Trump, who projects this, or tries to project this total confidence that he's got everything under control, 90 deals in 90 days, is openly admitting on camera, across from his negotiation partner, that he's pissed, which you would think would not be good for negotiation, because it tells the person with whom he's negotiating, like, oh, this guy's at a disadvantage. He's getting rattled. He's getting frazzled. He's upset at where things are, which easily could be interpreted as a sign of weakness. He also threatened tariffs. Now, a trade war with the European Union, which is either the second or third biggest, economy in the world, depending on if you look at nominal GDP or purchasing power parity, second or third, by my understanding. Threatening a trade war, or threatening to impose unilateral tariffs, which again the taxpayers will ultimately pay here in America, or triggering a trade war in which you impose tariffs and they retaliate, which will damage both economies. This doesn't seem like a really smart idea, but classic Trump.
Pouring into our country, and I think it's the hottest. And by the way, 1 year ago, our country was dead. We had a dead country because of an incompetent president and incompetent Democrats. All they know how to do is talk and think about conspiracy theories and nonsense. If they'd waste their time talking about America being great again, it would be so much nicer, so much easier.
So again, that's Trump begging Democrats to stop hammering him relentlessly over the Epstein files, knowing that, at least so far, any attempt by him to change the narrative or to change the media cycle, really for the first time, certainly in recent memory, if not the totality of his political career, has ended in abject failure. So he's still pissed about that. Please stop talking about Epstein. No, we're not going to stop talking about Epstein. Here's another clip.
Mr. Trump, can you do better than a 15% tariff rate for the EU?
Better meaning lower?
Yeah.
No.
So they're going to get hit with a 15% tariff, which means any goods that we import from the European Union will have to ultimately pay at least 15% more, assuming that companies don't do what Trump is apparently convinced that they're going to do and defy all economic law and just absorb the costs unto themselves. They're not going to do that forever. We're already seeing Walmart and other companies here in the United States have to raise their prices on consumers because they've tried out of fear of Trump and out of fear that consumers will be pissed. They've tried to absorb the cost, but they're throwing in the towel and saying, yeah, we got to hike prices because of his trade war. Here's another clip.
Iran was beaten up very badly for good reason. We cannot have them have a nuclear weapon, but they still talk about enrichment. I mean, who would do that? You just come out of something that's so bad and they talk about, we want to continue enrichment.
What was that a big deal? I thought Trump said that he totally obliterated the nuclear program, so they could talk all they want about enrichment, right? You said that you obliterated their entire nuclear program. You actually got pissed and threatened reporters, even when they were reporting on U.S. intelligence reports indicating that Iran's nuclear program had not been obliterated. So there was evidence to the contrary of Trump's claims. And now you seem to suggest that them talking about enrichment is a problem. Well, if it's just idle gossip, if it's just them running their mouths, who cares? Why are you so concerned? It's almost as if you didn't totally obliterate their nuclear program with your unilateral military strikes.
Who would say that? How stupid can you be to say that? So we're not going to allow that to happen.
Interesting. Did you see how he tells on himself? He tells on himself all the time. So now we're going to play some clips with Trump ranting about windmills. It's the second favorite topic. It's tariffs, then windmills. Here he goes. Brace yourselves. We have multiple clips, and also note the kind of the absurd comedy. This is something you would see on like an HBO show like Veep or Arrested Development or Curb Your Enthusiasm. You could almost hear the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song in the background as Trump rants incoherently. We have multiple clips of this, starting with this.
And the other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. And I'm not talking about airplanes. I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States. And you look up and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China, almost all of them. When they start to rust and rot in 8 years, you can't really turn them off. You can't bury them. They won't let you bury the propellers, the props, because there's a certain type of fiber that doesn't go well with the land. That's what they say. The environmentalists say you can't bury them because the fiber doesn't go well with the land. In other words, if you bury it, it will harm our soil. The whole thing is a con job. It's very expensive. And in all fairness, Germany tried it, and wind doesn't work. You need subsidy for wind, and energy should not need subsidy.
Energy should not. Donald Trump, during the campaign, promised to not only roll back regulations from the Obama administration, he wants to increase subsidies for fossil fuel companies. That's a form of energy, asshole. Like, this is just so. He's just a liar and a hypocrite. Green energy, we can't subsidize. Fossil fuels, oh yeah, we'll subsidize them to hell and back. Love oil so much. As much money as you want from the taxpayer, buddy. So, as long as that rant fell, there's more.
It ruins the landscape. It kills the birds. They're noisy. You have a certain place in the Massachusetts area that over the last 20 years had 1 or 2 whales wash ashore, and over the last short period of time, they had 18. Okay? Because it's driving them loco. It's driving them crazy. Now, windmills will not come. It's not going to happen in the United States. And it's very expensive. And I would love to see. I mean, today I'm playing the best course, I think, in the world, Turnberry. Even though I own it, it's probably the best course in the world, right? And I look over the horizon and I see 9 windmills. It's like great. At the end of the 18th, I said, isn't that a shame? What a shame. You have the same thing all over Europe in particular. You have windmills all over the place. Some of the countries prohibit it, but
you can just feel in her mind. She's like, Ursula von der Leyen's like, do I really need to be president of the European Commission? I could be doing like anything else. There are like so many other places I could be than right here listening to this asshole rant about windmills. And by the way, giving the real game away. Maybe to the extent that fish are dying. Maybe it's because the oceans are heating because of climate change, and Donald Trump thinks climate change is a hoax. That's one possibility. Another possibility is that he's lying. But the third thing to consider is this. Trump just gave the game away. He really doesn't like windmills because he doesn't like to see them on his golf courses. That's really what this is about. One last clip, and again, just note Ursula von der Leyen here, just thinking of herself. This moron is the most powerful man on earth, and I have to sit here and listen to him ramble incoherently. This is not how I want to spend the rest of my life.
Political hacks. These are people that they almost want to harm the country. But you look at these beautiful landscapes all over the world. Many countries have gotten smart. They will not allow it. They will not. It's the worst form of energy, the most expensive form of energy. But windmills should not be allowed.
Mr. Trump,
Cambodia and Thailand. You spoke to leaders of both countries.
I did.
Are they doing enough to stop the fighting?
I hope so. You're talking about Cambodia and Thailand?
Yeah.
So I had an interesting time. We're dealing with Thailand, and we do a lot of trade with Thailand and with Cambodia. And yet, I'm reading that they're killing each other. They're fighting. They're in a war. And I say, this should be an easy one for me because I've settled with India and Pakistan, and Serbia and Kosovo was going at it, but they have for a long time.
She's just staring. Okay, so I'll just remind you, India and Pakistan, two nuclear powers, went into conventional armed conflict on Trump's watch. It didn't happen on Biden's watch. Number two, Trump tried to take credit when they created a ceasefire, but I think it was India. I think it was the Modi government, which was like, Trump had nothing to do with it. We actually just reached out. India and Pakistan, we reached out to each other on our own. Now, Pakistan's trying to butter him up. Oh, thank you, Mr. President, for all you did. But India is like, yeah, you guys had nothing to do with it. It's kind of weird that you're trying to take credit for it, but that's classic Trump. So there you go, folks. Again, who knows what will happen? Maybe Trump will announce some sort of epic deal with the European Union, but he just spoke with the president of the executive branch of the European Union, the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, and he's publicly admitting he's pissed. He's not happy. He's really upset because it doesn't look like they're rolling over for him. And even Trump, who's like, 90 deals in 90 days is guaranteed, everything. Donald Trump says it's 50-50, which means it's probably like 20-80 against making a deal. Still might happen, but for Trump to publicly concede that he's pissed and not getting his way, it's staggering for a narcissist of his caliber. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.